So this is beginning of the part 2 of that episode because I accidentally unplugged our mic board. So I believe where we left off, we were talking about. Hey man, I'm just it's hard being
It'd
the
be like,
only technical person around here. But we left off talking about trades and the Cooper Cup and Calvin Ridley trade we've been trying to do. So we're going to start back from there, mainly because the other episode isn't done priming, so we can't go back and listen to it exactly where it was. So, Dan, you were talking about the Cooper Cup trade.
yeah, well, what I was talking about was that what we try to do is we're trying to shop Cooper Cup and Calvin Ridley, right? And we can't get a trade to save our life, okay? Which is, in my opinion, kind of preposterous.
Yeah, all anybody wants from us is damn
Brian Thomas
yeah.
and Drake London, okay? But these are cornerstones of our franchise. So the cornerstones of our franchise, look, okay, so I joined a high stakes Dynasty League, Superflex, right? And
Hold on, we got to turn our mics up. Yeah, turn your mics up. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't seem like it's. I don't know what just happened. I tripped over a cord, is what actually happened. But
that's what actually happened.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's what happened. No, you got to talk. I can't. I don't know
Are
what.
we good now? Okay, cool. So in the high stakes league, that was my guilty pleasure in this off season. Was I joined a different league, and it was a high stakes Superflex league, and basically our strategy was we drafted 3 receivers first, right? And then as soon as the startup draft ended, the trades were pouring in for the receivers that these guys all passed up on. And I don't understand it. They had opportunities. Look, I got Brian Thomas Jr. at the end of the third. The end of the third, Kerry. And that is ridiculous. Okay? When he just put up a season that was top 7 with Mac Jones.
Oh, you're talking about it differently.
Yeah, differently. But I'm talking about these guys. My point is that after the initial draft, they came to me about Brian Thomas so hard and really just disrespectful trades. Like there wasn't even anything worth thinking about, right? But every league is different. But I'm just saying, if you passed on Brian Thomas after your first 3 picks, do you really think I'm about to trade you Brian Thomas for like a stick of dynamite and some doo-doo butter? Like, is what in your mind makes you think that is okay? But anyways, I digress. I'm just saying, the people trading, like the trades going off in the Diner League right now, Kerry. These are the guys who were probably middle of the pack and are just trying to bolster their team. Now, for the guy who got Saquon, good for him. I don't understand why nobody wants Calvin Ridley and Cooper Kupp.
Because they're old, dude.
Okay, but you don't think they still have value? Especially with Tennessee having the first pick, dude. Tennessee has a new. They have a new system.
Well, it's up in the air because it's Tennessee for one.
Okay.
For two, they have a lot of new stuff going on, and they're probably going to end up with a quarterback, either a rookie quarterback or paying for veteran quarterbacks. There's several out there. The Cooper Kupp situation is he's older. He had a huge markdown as soon as we traded for him. Or like 2 games after we traded for him, he had a huge just decline. But he is open to trade, so no one really knows where he's going to land. And depending on where he lands at, he may or may not. He may or may not retain the value.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, right? With knowing all that, Are you in or out on taking a chance on Cooper Kupp? Not as if he was on our team, because he is. But what
I
I'm
wouldn't.
saying is that if somebody else in a different league
I
was
was
like,
wide
Cooper
receiver-
Kupp's up for trade on the trade block, would you take a shot?
If I was wide receiver needy, yeah, I would take a shot. But it really depends on what my wide receiver needs are. It's very early to tell because he might go to a team that needs an alpha wide receiver for like the next year or two maybe, but he also might go to a team that's just kind of not good or has a rookie quarterback that's not performing well.
What about Adam
things like
Thielen? Adam Thielen had a great fantasy season,
Mm-hmm.
and he's on Carolina.
Yeah, but he's also Bryce Young's number one target. And what I'm saying is that they have a chemistry. They have a big time chemistry. He could go to a team where he doesn't have chemistry with anybody, and it's a new system for him.
Okay, so
And he's also, he's been on the one team forever.
no, I get
So
it.
it's
Okay,
just
I get it.
we
So
don't know how well Cooper Kupp's going to perform because of the sudden decline in how he
I
was
believe
doing.
in Cooper Kupp.
I believe
Okay.
in him too now, but
Okay.
if I was wide receiver needy, I would try to trade for him, but I wouldn't add much.
So let me ask you a question. Here's my best comp, right? If T. Higgins leaves the Bengals and they got Cooper Kupp, how are you feeling about that? Like if Cooper Kupp went to the Bengals and T. Higgins was out, what do you do?
I'd feel like I'd missed a window to get a really good player on a really good offense.
Which player? Who?
Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
I feel like I would miss the window to get Cooper Kupp for very cheap at that because I mean
So his value is going to go up.
If he goes to a good offense like that, yeah, his value will
Yeah,
obviously go up. I mean, there's no doubt about that in my mind.
What about Cooper Kupp to the Titans? We were just talking about Tennessee, right? You got Calvin Ridley and then Cooper Kupp.
I don't think you do good at Titans because they have quarterback problems. They got offensive line problems. They got all sorts of problems. Calvin Ridley's the number one there.
Right, that's not a good comp.
No, it's not. If he went to like the Raiders, if he went to the Raiders or something like that, yeah, but
a good quarterback that we
Chargers could use a vet.
Yes,
Green Bay could use a vet.
Went to the Chargers.
Yeah, his value would go up. In my opinion, would go up a lot.
What would you pay for him?
Straight
if
up for Cooper Kupp
went to the Chargers.
Straight up for 31-year-old Cooper Kupp.
I mean,
I'd offer either a late second or early third. Would be my initial startup. I mean, I hate to say it because we have Cooper Kupp on our team, but we knew what we were getting when we got him.
For sure.
We got him. He helped us win to get into the playoffs, and then he dudded out so hard during the entire playoffs, but we kept starting him anyway.
I guess my thing is that I think he still has more gas in the tank than what people are giving him
I agree.
credit for.
I agree with that, but if he stays on the Rams and he stays in the system that he's in right now, he's going to move back to the wide receiver two because Puka's the clear wide receiver one in that team now. He's took all the targets, everything. I think it really depends on where he ends up going, if he goes anywhere, and it also depends on where if Matthew Stafford stays with the team or not, which is be part of news on that. So.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, well, it was very interesting in the diner because nobody wants to trade with us, and so I'm struggling. Like, for all you champions out here, can somebody drop a line in the comments about? I feel like people are just hating. Does that happen to you guys?
The only people they want from us is Justin Jefferson or Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, I want to know in people in the diners and other leagues, like, for all you champions out there, like, is everybody just hating? Is everybody just hating? That's the question.
Listen, my advice when it comes to this kind of stuff is, having the stud players is always a bonus. It really is. It's really nice. But having those players that can get you 15 to 20 points a game.
Wide receiver 3.
Yeah, no,
it's important.
Wide
receiver, in a championship.
A wide receiver 2 and stuff like that, like a wide receiver 2 numbers and shit like that.
It's so important.
It is extremely important to have depth at that position with these kind of players. Like a Cooper Kupp, in my opinion, now is a wide receiver 2. Calvin Ridley,
He's
he
a
had
3.
he had a good run. Well, yeah, a 3 after those last like 5 games, but I still think Cooper Kupp could put up like mid to or like high level wide receiver 2 numbers in the right area or the right team. Calvin Ridley, he's also an older player, and again, we traded a good bit for him.
He's not that old, dude.
He's 32,
What's Cooper Kupp?
31. I'm pretty sure. What's his name is 32. But it's just they're older players, but they're talented players.
Right.
And that's the difference. Is you
I
want
think it depends on the
talented vets.
situation with these guys,
Yeah,
right?
it does. It depends on what happens.
Like, look at Westbrook Akine on Tennessee.
Oh,
This
Calvin
dude
Ridley's
caught
30.
a touchdown every week for 6 weeks, and nobody could explain it. Nobody started him. Everybody picked him up, but
he
then
sat on
nobody
our
started
bench.
him.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley's 30. Cooper Kupp's 31.
Okay. All right, that's fair. So
They're at that clip. You know what I mean?
yeah, they're right at the plateau, right?
They're
You don't
right
know
there.
where they're gonna go.
But they're
Okay.
hyper talented.
That's fair.
And I mean, they're not in our main 3 wide receivers, but they are 2 of our backups that we have that we played. But it's hard to trade them for better players. Do you know what I mean? Because it would have to be a very wide receiver needed.
But Kerry, we're not even getting any picks.
No, everybody wants the only players people want off our team are Justin Jefferson or Brian Thomas Jr. And I'm sorry, we're not giving them up.
No, those
not
are
unless you come with we had an offer with a bunch of picks and stuff like that, but it's not without a player. Dan believes in the rookie draft and the pick value more than I do. I believe in the player value, proven player value more. And the transition from college to the NFL is such a huge difference. So you could be awesome at college and suck in NFL. It happens all the time.
That's what makes us a great team.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Let me talk to you something about Drake London, though. We have a conundrum. So I don't know how many of you diners out here own Drake London, right? But me and Kerry are sitting here in a conundrum, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So in the same league, because this is what we talk about, it's the Diner League, we have Drake London, and he would be the receiver we're willing to shop. But also
of the 3 core
in our
players.
of our 3 wide receivers, he's the one, right? Because every team has 3 receivers starting. And every team out there, all you diners, you have one receiver you're willing to shop.
Yeah, but not every team has a solid wide receiver core like what we have.
No, I get it. But everybody's got a conundrum. That's
yeah,
my
everybody
point,
does.
right?
Everybody does.
It's every team out there. It's like, okay, I really like this guy, but I could get the most value for him, and that's what it comes down to: value versus production, right? So for us, it's Drake London, okay, and that seems to be what everybody's into. So, how do you feel about trading Drake London and Michael Penix in the whole situation? Because you're a Georgia guy. You're an Atlanta guy. Tell me what you think about the Atlanta situation.
I don't personally want to trade Drake London. I know it's a very small sample size, but Michael Penix Jr. played. He almost hyper targeted Drake London, which is a great sign because Drake London is very talented. He just has not been getting the passes and the stuff like that. I personally don't want to trade him, but we do have needs on our team. And if the right trade comes along for him for the needs of that team, that's a completely different situation. I'd rather keep him. I'd honestly rather keep all of our guys because we traded a lot of our picks away to acquire certain players and stuff like that. We did do that, and it is what it is. We knew what we were doing. We had a long discussion about before it happened. We knew that it would sit us where we're at now. And it's draft season coming up, and we also have what's called FOMO, which is fear of missing out. We drastically do not want to miss out on the rookie draft because of what's coming up in the rookie draft, which is a bunch of running backs and stuff like that. But having said that, he's so talented. He had 158 targets this year with 100 receptions for 1,271 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's what Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix. Michael Penix played the last 2 games against Washington and Carolina. Against Washington and Carolina, he targeted in the Washington game, he targeted Drake London 13 times for 7 receptions, 106 yards, right? No touchdown. Then against Carolina, it's Carolina, so it is what it is. He targeted him 18 times for 10 receptions, 187 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So if these are the targets that we're going to be looking at getting a consistently 10 plus targets a game from Michael Penix to Drake London, and the talent that Drake London has at 23 years old, he'll be 24. He's also, I think he also finished the wide receiver 5. Believe it or not, he absolutely crushed it this year. I just, not for nothing, not for only just being a fan, but I'd be hard set to let him go, because we have Brian Thomas at 4, Justin Jefferson at 2, and then we have Drake London at 5. So we theoretically have 3 of the top 5 wide receivers as our base 4. Not for nothing, that's a hard sell for any of one of those guys.
Well, I agree. And also, for people, okay, just to preface this, right? Like, I'm talking to diners who I'm assuming have multiple dynasty teams, right? So, I want y'all to tune in, right? Because we talk about the diner league a lot, but that doesn't mean that everything we're saying doesn't mean anything if it's not the players that you have, right? These are situations that every league is going through. I'm in 7 dynasty leagues, okay? Carrie, you are too. In every freaking league, I'm seeing the same strife that everybody's going through, okay? So listen up, diners. That's all I'm saying. Like, this is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to, the saying is, it's shit or get off the pot time. Like, you're going to have to do something or you're not.
Yeah.
And so me and Carrie had the conversation, matter of fact, this morning about Drake London. Because if nobody's biting on Cooper Kupp and Calvin Ridley, the only thing we can get anything for is Drake London. And I said, look, I don't even know if I'm willing to deal Drake London. Okay? These are the decisions that people have to make. So get in the comments section. Let us know who are the players that are on that fringe, right? Because I'm trying. Look, in other leagues, I'm trading for Chuba Hubbard. I'm reading in other leagues that he's on the fringe. So I would like to hear from you, especially you, Andre. You're awfully silent when it comes to fantasy moves and players. Like, come on, man, speak up. But I would like to hear from the diners, like, who are you struggling with? Like, what are the players that you're not sure if they should go or stay? Because I'm sure we're all in the same boat, and we can share together as a community, as a diner, and we can figure this out. But, like, that's the truth. There's a lot of people where you're like, wow. Like Drake London's a good one. If Michael Penix is a big dog turd, Drake London's not good. But from what I saw, he's skilled and he's great. But that was with Kirk Cousins. So, and then there's the back and forth about, well, is Kirk Cousins good or not? Nobody knows. So, like, who are the players that are, like, truly in that fringe spot, not on their own ability, but on the situation? Because the situation matters so much. We talked about this on the last episode or the one before that, where the situation means a lot. Okay? So, like, that's what I'm looking at this offseason. I'm looking at situations hardcore. How about you?
Yeah, obviously you got to pay attention to what's going on around the league and what coordinators are going to wear, what coaches are going to wear, what players are going to wear. From the information I've been seeing and stuff like that, Atlanta's probably going to keep on holding on to Kirk Cousins as a backup just because of the contract that he's under.
No one wants to talk about the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm just saying because we're talking about Drake London.
Okay.
You know, as an example, Drake London's situation is going to change drastically.
I just said that as a Cleveland fan. I'm sorry.
No, I understand.
I rescind my
Nobody really
Everybody wants to talk about
Listen, dog, the Browns are so not cared about that of all the cards I've ever pulled, I've maybe gotten like 10, maybe 11 Browns players. I've given them all to you. Every single one, with the exception of one that I have that you can't have. But yeah, it's just you gotta pay attention to those situations, right? So pay attention to if the Commanders decide to pick up a wide receiver, which Cooper Kupp fit in real nice over there, all across from Jerry McLaurin. You know, it's just there's a lot that's going to happen within the next few months.
Cooper Kupp to the Cardinals, or I'm sorry, the
Commanders.
Bruh.
It'd be
Ooh, baby.
Oh, fun fact.
Fun fact.
Zach Ertz is not. I don't know if they're going to re-sign Zach Ertz or not on the Commanders.
Senator.
Ben Sinnott, baby. Listen, Zach Ertz has a history of playing on a team and then either leaving or getting injured or something of that matter because he's older and dirt. And then the backup tight end's just being really good. It happened on the Cardinals with Trey McBride. It happened on the team before that. I can't remember off the top of my head. And the backup to this is Ben Sinnott. So, but it's just keep an eye on things, see how things play out. Like I said, for me, the Drake London situation is he did get a ton of targets from Michael Penix Jr. over the last 2 games. He finished 5th overall. He had a very consistent season with whatever quarterback was there. I mean, he had a fairly consistent season whatever quarterback was there. He finished number 5 overall as far as our point scoring goes and stuff like that. And not for nothing, that's pretty good. Brian Thomas Jr., who finished 4th overall, had a couple of really good games in the beginning of the season with Trevor Lawrence. And then Trevor Lawrence got injured in week 9, and 2 weeks after that, the 2 weeks following that, he didn't do so hot, and then the bye week hit, and then he came back and he did great because there's no Christian Kirk or anything like that. So these are things to pay attention to. That Brian Thomas Jr. is super talented, and we're super happy to have him, and he's going to be a superstar.
He's a star.
But the difference in targets and things like that from what was his name?
Mac Jones?
Yeah, from Mac Jones was high. It was night and day difference in the targets he got from Trevor Lawrence.
True.
But situations change. We'll see how that goes.
Okay. It's a good chat.
It is.
It's been 4 weeks since we given a Diners report. I feel like that's where we're at, people. For those of you hanging out, we love you too. But please bring a friend. Bring a friend to the diner, please. We need it.
All right, split the check.
Split the freaking check. Here we go. All you. All right, listen. All right, we're gonna rapid fire through some of this now. These are just some news and notes that we're gonna rapid fire through.
I've got a bunch of news if you want to go off what I have.
Well, you didn't put it in the doc, so I guess that was bad on you.
I told you before we started the podcast, I have like 12 articles to go through on the news.
Okay, cool, but I have 6 things listed here, and you didn't add. Jeez, you see, I'm always trying to get the blame pinned on me.
You're not getting the blame pinned on anybody. I just told you literally like a minute and a half before we started recording, an hour ago, that I had 12 articles of news to go through.
No, that was the first recording. Now we're on the second. All right, listen. All right, hold on. This is the only thing I want to say. Let me get this in. All right, for the workers permit, I know it's been gone for a few weeks. Well, no, a few months, right? But I just want y'all to know this in the off season, this is film watching season, and I'm all in. Okay, so from here on out, every other episode, we're gonna have the workers permit back up and running. I've watched like 5 or 6 players on film. I don't want to report yet, but this is film watching season for the rookies. Okay, so I just want y'all to know we're gonna start getting into it, and we'll try to do our best. Okay. Now, the toast report. Carrie, do you have news?
I do. I have news.
Okay.
For those of the just tuning in, I have news. So some of this is toasted people. Some of this is just news going around the league right now. The Bills have announced a 4-year extension for wide receiver Khalil Shakir. The pack locks him in through 2029. ESPN's Adam Schefter report Shakir will get quote up to end quote $60.2 million, including $32 million guaranteed. Tagging onto that in Khalil Shakir.
Oh, good.
Scrapped 4-year contract. Tagging on to the Bills news, in February 2025, James Cook removed all Bills-related posts from his Instagram account and changed his profile picture. He also unfollowed the Bills' Instagram. This has happened before. These are things that...
He's holding out, homie.
Yeah, these are things you have to pay attention to. Cook is looking for a new contract before the 2025-26 season. He wants to, quote, get what I deserve, end quote, and has hinted at a salary of $15 million per year. Cook's social media move has led to speculation that it's a negotiation tactic, which it very well could be, because as much as I love Cook, him coming from Georgia, and he is a good running back, but he's not a top like 5 or 10 running back, and $15 million a year at the running back position as it sits now is kind of a lot. Even though I think they should be getting paid more, but it's kind of a lot for what he's asked him for the team he's on, because they got new stuff going on. So moving on, the Rams have given quarterback Matthew Stafford permission to gauge trade interest and value from other teams, according to NFL Network. Is it Pelissero or Pelissero? Stafford carries a $49.6 million cap number in 2025, but the Rams can save $27 million by trading him in a post-June 1st transaction, or $23 million by making him a post-June 1 cut. Stafford, who turned 37 earlier in February, said that he plans to play in 2025, but not clear who he's going to be playing for.
In my opinion, they move him.
I think,
and I also heard that they're actually getting a long-term contract for Kyron Williams.
Yeah,
and so if you're going to get Kyron and Jared Verse, which is their rookie defensive guy, I feel like this is the time where Stafford's out.
It's a good move. It's a good move because Kyron, I think his contract is coming up.
No, Kyron, they're. I heard that they are literally trying to get him a long-term contract.
That's what I'm saying. I think his contract is coming to an end here before long, and with Jonathan Brooks, his backup, with his
Jonathan Brooks is in Carolina.
Then who's his backup? Blake Corum. With Blake Corum as the backup. From what I've seen online about it, is Blake Corum's good, but he's not going to overtake.
He's from Michigan, dude. He's probably sorry.
He's not gonna overtake him.
No, he's from Michigan. He's terrible.
Yeah, moving. That's great news for me because I have him in one of my leagues.
Oh, he's terrible.
Moving on, the Saints have hired Doug. What's this? Nussmeier.
Did you say
Nussmeier?
D's nuts miter?
I said Doug Nussmeier as offensive coordinator. The 54-year-old brings an extensive history with new head coach Kellen Moore, working together with the Eagles as quarterback coach, Chargers as quarterback coach, and the Cowboys as quarterback tight end coach. Nussmeier hasn't, I don't know if I pronounced that right or not, but he hasn't been a play caller at the pro level, but held OC jobs at Fresno State, Washington, Alabama, Florida, and Michigan. The Saints still have a quarterback problem to solve, but Nussmeier
Dude, I'm dying.
I know. I heard you over there. Looks like a qualified candidate to help more adjust to his birthday gig.
D's Nutsmeyer,
I can tell
a
you,
new friend of the show.
old Dougie, old
be
Dougie
a
Nuss,
permanent staple.
Doug Nuss. ESPN insider Jeremy Fowler believes there's a 75% chance that the Jaguars cut wide receiver Christian Kirk. Fowler adds that Kirk's contract is reasonable, quote, reasonable enough that the Jaguars might be able to get something for him in a trade if he is healthy, end quote. Bless you. The former Cardinal missed most of 2024 with a collarbone injury. Now the Jags are ushering in a new head coach GM. Kirk ultimately isn't someone we target in early best ball drafts, by the way, just because of that. Early best ball drafts are gangster because you really just don't know what's going on. You're just going off of hopes and prayers.
Yo, speaking of early best ball drafts, okay, so I've invested plenty into the. Oh man, have y'all ever
Here it comes.
had
The Italiano right here.
Have y'all ever had a sneeze just caught in your whole nasal passage? It's a wrecking ball.
We already got the
And you
pepperoni
don't
and salami.
sneeze, and then all of a sudden it hits you in the face, and then you don't have to sneeze.
Dude, we got
And then you're like, I'm about to ruin this podcast, and then you don't have to sneeze. Like, this is ridiculous.
Come on, now lay it on us. We got the pepperoni, we got the salami laid out on the bread. Hit us with the Italian dressing, dog. The vinegar, the oil, that salt.
All I want to say
Black olives.
was that I have been involved in the pre-2025 draft best ball streets.
Biggity bobbity.
There is a huge edge there. Okay, so for all you people on Underdog, that's where I play. They're not a sponsor. I wish they would be, but that's where I play. So I'll just let y'all know. But like the pre-2025 best ball draft,
It's a gangster place
there is
to do this.
So much freaking edge. Like I'm getting it. It's just ridiculous. You can find me on there. You'll see my teams, dude. The pre-2020, because after the draft happened, is what it seems like all the sharks and all the people who actually want to play, it seems like that's where they're at. But I'm trying to find edges where they're not at.
Nobody
so
knows nothing.
The pre-2025 best ball drafts, get in there. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
The Eagles named Kevin Patullo their new offensive coordinator. He replaces Kellen Moore, who took the Saints head coach job earlier this month. Patullo has no play calling experience at any level, but has been with the Eagles since head coach Nick Sirianni took over in 2021, serving as pass game coordinator and adding the associate head coach title for the past 2 years. Patullo, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, has been, quote, an integral part of the transition between OCs the past 2 years and a trusted part of Nick Sirianni's coaching staff, end quote. According to NFL Network's Mike Garofalo, it's a continuity hire by the Eagles. Expect the 2025 offense to look similar to 2024's tush-push unless it becomes illegal. In terms of design and run/pass split, which means basically what they're saying is going to be the same exact thing going on, and Saquon's going to get 1 billion yards again. The Panthers on Tuesday announced a new 2-year deal with quarterback Andy Dalton. It'll reportedly
backup contract.
Yeah, it'll reportedly pay him $8 million to $6 million of that guarantee and a max value of $10 million. Dalton.
They owed him that for faking the car wreck. Yeah, that's when it all changed, right?
Yeah,
they benched Bryce Young.
I don't think that
the car wreck.
I don't think their trajectory changed. I think it was Adam Thielen came back from injury.
But also remember, Cam Newton got the car wreck. This is a Charlotte, North Carolina thing, right? Cam Newton got in the car wreck. That was all big news.
You ever been to
now,
Charlotte?
Andy Dalton. Yeah, I love Charlotte.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
I love Charlotte.
It's a great place, but the traffic is terrible.
My brother lives in Charlotte. You don't have to deal with traffic if you just take the free train.
I know, it's so cool. For those who don't know, there's just a train that rides up Main Street all the way through.
Listen, we took it
It
from the
doesn't
last
cost
stop.
anything.
I saw everything in
When
Charlotte.
I went up and seen our
off
buddy,
the free train.
yeah, when I went up and seen our buddy there, Matt, I took that train up and down the city one time while he was at work.
Dude.
I had no clue where I was.
Shout out. I love Charlotte. I'd move there. All right, continue.
The Bengals plan on placing the non-exclusive franchise tag on wide receiver T. Higgins, according to Sports Illustrated. James
That's right.
Rapin.
Whoa, wait, what?
Rapian, whatever.
Wait,
The non-exclusive tag allows other teams to negotiate with Higgins, but the Bengals would have the right to match any offer and would receive 2 first-round picks from the acquiring team if Higgins leaves. In other words, Higgins is a heavy favorite in Cincinnati 2025.
That's right, but
They
if
plan to sign
he
him.
doesn't leave, what's the reporter going to do?
They plan to sign him to a long-term deal, but what it sounds like to me is that they're franchise tagging him again. They're holding him back, I think. Without a contract, I think they're just kind of they're screwing him over. I mean, that's how I personally feel.
No,
but
I disagree. T. Higgins is so good.
No, what I'm saying is they're placing
that franchise.
But they're placing him on a franchise tag to where
Right.
the Bengals have the right to match it, and the other team has to give 2 first round draft picks.
Report. Okay, I get it, but the report that I read was that they're franchising him now to buy time.
It's
to
a
sign him
second
to a
year in a
long
row.
contract.
But it's the second year in a row they franchise.
Right, but there's also more money in the salary cap, which we'll get to in a minute.
Now, but still, it's they're franchise tagging him 2 years in a row. They still have to pay Jamar Chase his money.
He's paid. Didn't they sign him?
Well, I mean, they got to give as starting this year, that's going to start hitting their salary and stuff like that. So that salary cap, they raised the salary cap, it might be gone. You know what I mean? So it's like they keep BSing this dude around. He's a super talented player when he's not injured, but it's like, come on, dude, give him his money. Moving on, Texas wide receiver Tank Dell has undergone successful surgery to repair the MCL and LCL in his left knee, but still needs a secondary surgery to repair the ACL. Insider Aaron Wilson reports the second procedure will happen soon. Per Wilson, we haven't heard a rehab timeline for the December 21st injury, but Wilson, right to Dell's return, will likely become 2026. So, yeah, Tank Dell is probably going to miss out this entire season. That's a bummer, but to be honest, his play last year was not.
That's pretty bad.
Was not good. Their whole offense, I don't know what happened, but their whole offense took a regression and not in a positive way.
Side note, because you said you don't know what happened to the offense, Bobby Slowick, their offensive coordinator, let go. So they have a new one in.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yep, we'll see how that goes. I have that actually coming up here soon. The Bears reporter Chris Emma believes, quote, it's reasonable to believe, end quote, that Cole Kmet, quote, could be a dynamic threat, end quote. With new head coach Ben Johnson, Ben Johnson has been known to target tight ends a little bit more and stuff like that.
Look at Laporta.
Yeah, so, I mean, keep an eye out. Cole Kmet is a talented player.
Wait, who's the guy that said that?
It was a Bears reporter, Chris Emma.
Who the hell is this guy?
Don't know. I don't know, but I like Cole Kmet. I think he's a very talented player.
Dude,
I think he should be talented.
Every league fan.
Yeah.
I might even trade for Cole Kmet.
Yeah, he's good.
I would like to get this reporter on the podcast so we can ask him, why do you hate Cole Kmet?
No, he literally just said he's boosting him up. He's saying that he's, quote, it's reasonable to believe that Cole Kmet can be a dynamic threat with new head coach Ben Johnson.
That's not good enough for me. Get him on the podcast.
That's ridiculous. He's
right,
doing nothing
on.
but saying positive things about it. Anyway.
No.
Yes, that's exactly what happened there.
Nah, but that's not good enough.
According to multiple reports, the Saints are now set to officially hire Kellen Moore as their head coach.
Yep.
The move has been expected since before the Super Bowl. At 36, Moore will become the league's youngest head coach, edging Seattle's Mike McDonald, 37, until late June. Moore, of course, spent 2024 as the Eagles' offensive coordinator. after one season as Chargers offensive coordinator for the Cowboys offensive coordinator. And if I remember correctly, he was the offensive coordinator of the year. CeeDee Lamb went him. So,
Side note, there's been 6 head coaching changes this year and 15 coordinator changes.
yeah, it's been a lot.
So for all y'all that, you're following your teams where, it's like especially Detroit. Detroit's in flux right now. You don't know what's going to happen.
A lot of
there.
teams are.
Well, 15 coordinators, man. That's a lot of coordinators.
A lot of these rookie quarterbacks.
So I'm just suggesting 100%, dude. I'm just suggesting that y'all better take a look at the coordinator changes because it really does make a difference.
Yeah, it does make a difference, and there's a lot going on. So pay attention to that. And it's hard for these rookies to get going under one regime than changing immediately. So, and if you look at the successful teams, you got the Andy Reid's who've been there forever, and stuff like that. So I think it's ridiculous to bring a head coach in for one season and then change it because all of a sudden your head coach gets one season to go to the Super Bowl. So shut up. Anyway, ESPN reports that the 49ers have granted wide receiver Deebo Samuel permission to seek a trade. It's reportedly the second time in 3 seasons that Samuel has made such a request. Samuel has 1 year remaining on his contract with a $15.8 million cap hit, according to Spot Track. A $15.4 million option bonus that would pay out on March 22nd appears to set a deadline for the deal to happen. So he either gets moved or he gets money. Fox's Jay Glazer, Dan's favorite reporter.
I love Jay Glazer.
Yeah, reports that the Jets recently told quarterback Aaron Rodgers that they are, quote, moving on from him, end quote. That reportedly came in a meeting with Rodgers' own back in New Jersey for. That's pretty crappy. It could have been a Zoom call or an email. Rodgers
could have just been a text.
Yeah, it could have been, but Rodgers still wants to play in 2025. Honestly, after that season, I don't know who would pick him up except for an extremely quarterback.
I disagree with you. I think he could have one more epic season, but in the right situation.
If you let him keep total control of the team.
The right situation. No, I think he needs to go to
Dude, he got Alan Lazard. He got Devonta Adams over on the team. That's what happened.
Nah.
Those are facts.
If he was on Tampa, let's
he'd
just
have Alan Lazard
and
he would have
Aaron Rodgers there, dude. It's on and pop.
No, I think Aaron Rodgers in it. I mean, he played well. He threw his 3,000 something yards, but it's not the Aaron Rodgers that everybody wants. But moving on, the Texans hired Nick Caley as their own offensive coordinator, replacing Bobby Slowick, like we said earlier. Caley spent the past 2 seasons working under Sean McVay in Los Angeles, holding the title of tight ends coach in 2023 and passing game coordinator last year. He was with the Patriots from 2015 to 2022. Those first 7 seasons were led by offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. We'll see what Caley picked up from McVay and McDaniels, but this will be his first time calling plays at any level. Priority number 1 will be helping quarterback C.J. Stroud rebound from disappointing sophomore season. Houston also has work to do because their wide receiver core kind of in shambles. Stephon Diggs, the free agent, I think they'll most likely miss out. So for those Nico Collins owners, hey, targets are coming your way, hopefully. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to see somebody like, I don't know, Cooper Kupp on the Texans, but we'll see. And finally, the Browns edge Myles Garrett has officially requested that the team trade him, according to multiple reports. The Browns GM Andrew Berry has maintained that he's not interested in moving Garrett. This is a big deal because Myles Garrett is one of the best edge rushers in the league, and he would be
the best.
Any team would be happy to have him. So, but that is it for the Toast Report. I know some of those, at least from my portion of it, I know some of those may have been old news to some of y'all and stuff like that. But like I said, we've been out on winter break, so that's it.
So, I just have a couple things I want to add. Shout out to Darian Kennard. Okay, have you heard of Darian Kennard? That's what I think. Nobody has. Listen, he's an offensive tackle, but he started his career with the Kansas City Chiefs from 2022 to 2024, and then got traded or signed with the Eagles for 2024 to current. This man has won 3 Super Bowls in his first 3 freaking years, Kerry.
Yeah.
And I just want to shout out to him. Like, what a man. You
heard
gonna
of
leave
this
the
guy.
Chiefs? Can you imagine being on the Chiefs and winning 2 Super Bowls and you're like, you know what? I'm out.
3-peat,
And then
baby.
you go to the Phillies, or not the Phillies, but Philadelphia, and then you win a Super Bowl. I just want to shout out this guy. Like, he has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, dude.
He is dope. Next thing, have you seen anything about Noah Lyles and Tyreek Hill? Noah Lyles is the Olympic fastest man from America. Apparently, he has called out Tyreek Hill about a foot race.
Ooh,
And I'm all for it. I mean, do you like that?
Listen, Tyreek Hill has he ran a sprint, like 100-yard sprint or whatever
But he's
it was.
31.
But he ran a 100-yard sprint, I believe it was last year during the offseason, and he ran it like 0.2 seconds slower than he ran it back in high school. So he's still super fast. He blew.
I know.
He blew
Noah
all.
Lyles and Tyreek Hill have been having a beef.
He blew all them dudes away. So
I know. All right. My other thing, the tush push.
Listen,
okay.
I wanted to add on to your guy who won 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah.
There's only been one other player who's managed to do that. Okay, and that was since the first Super Bowl played in January 1967. There's been exactly one other person who's managed to win 3 Super Bowls in a row, and that player was Ken Norton Jr. Norton started his career in Dallas after the Cowboys selected him in the 2nd-round pick in 1988.
And so what if I pulled you
So he joins
right out of
He
work,
joins the stat of the elite of elite.
and I said, yo, Ken Norton Jr. and Darian Kennard.
Ken Norton Jr. sounds like what's his name character in Talladega Nights.
Darian Kennard sounds like a thief in like the Italian Job. Like, I'm Darian Kennard. I'm gonna steal
I'll tell you,
100 pounds of gold.
Listen, dude,
Like, dude,
I'm Ken Norton Jr. and I drive the number 88 NASCAR for Budweiser.
you should shout them both out. The other thing, okay, on the tush push, news came out a day or two ago.
A lot of people are getting
The Packers filed a complaint.
the Packers who
with
stopped
NFL,
it.
said tush push illegal, right?
It should be.
And then as of
100% agree.
today, Nick Sirianni says it's unfair to ban the tush push, okay?
Of course.
Now, listen. They were coming at things about, okay, also the Falcons, Raheem Morris, he would vote to ban it. Buffalo Bills would vote to ban it. But, you know, a lot of these arguments are a bit flimsy. You know, they're going with injuries, right? Which, by the way, Gary, like football,
Has there been a single injury in the tush push?
there's never been a single injury in football, right?
Mhm.
Except for dudes' brains getting mashed.
No, I didn't say in football. I said during the tush push.
I know, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying is that football is a sport where if you're going to claim injury, to me, it's a non-issue, right? You're playing tackle football in the NFL. Injuries should not be claimed as any kind of lawsuit because you're playing football, bro. Like, enough. It's a dangerous sport. These dudes are going full collision at each other. It is what it is, okay?
It is. But I agree that the tush push should be removed from the game. There's only one
Do
team.
you?
There's only one team that does it.
No.
There's
Other teams do it.
just not as well, apparently.
Correct.
Yeah, but I think I feel like it's an unfair advantage because it's used in situations where it's like third and less than a foot, or third and a foot. You know what I mean? And then you just fall over. As long as the ball crosses the line, that's fine.
Nah, dude, get better. All right. Shadur and Genty both have already said they're not going to the combine.
Yep.
Any thoughts
I think it's a good move for Genty.
about Shadur?
No, I think Shadur's absolutely. I mean,
No, I think
it makes sense for him not to go because then it would show his flaws in his game. Because when he gets put up against these other quarterbacks, it's going to show, oh, yeah, it's good arm strength, but that's it.
To me, Shadur, it seems like it's going to his head, right? But he's also taking advantage of a weak quarterback class, right? If this was last year's class with Nix and Penix,
Yeah, he'd have
and
been.
all these other dudes, like he would have to go to the combine,
Listen,
right?
The biggest I remember, like 2 years ago, the biggest thing about Shadur Sanders was the fact that he stat padded. If you go back and look, he has a ton of sacks. Because he would rather take the sacks and the incomplete passes or the chance of interceptions on his stat record.
I kind of believe he's banking on his name.
He 100% is, ain't his dad. He's one of those players.
His name is Stats.
Yeah, I know, but he's not prime time. He's not Coach Prime. You know, he's not prime time.
Nobody's
Exactly. So he's
time.
banking on his dad's name. There's a lot of Sanders out there. You know what I mean?
He's good. Let's not discredit the young man.
Let's not discredit. He's okay. I think he's good. I think he's okay. I think he's a mediocre. I don't think he's a starter in the NFL. By any means.
You don't think he's a starter?
No, I think if you draft him,
Tennessee,
if
you
you
want
draft
Will
him,
Levis or Shadur?
if I had to pick, I would just be interested to see how Shadur does because I know what Will Levis is.
You want Sam Darnold
Which
or
is
Shadur?
Sam Darnold.
Do you
100% Sam Darnold.
Do you want Zach Wilson or Shadur?
I would take Zach Wilson because he beat Kansas City Chiefs.
Aaron Rodgers or Shadur?
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
It was because
Derek Carr or Shadur?
Derek Carr.
Dude, that's tough.
That's good. You hate Derek Carr and that's fine.
I mean,
But
I do.
Shadur is to me, he is a overhyped player.
Bryce Young or Shadur?
I would much rather have Bryce Young. Yeah, dude, I don't like Shadur Sanders. I think he played in an extremely weak conference. And
That's true.
I think the reason why his team was so good was because Deion Sanders was there, and they were only so good for the first season. They won 3 games and got destroyed the rest of the time, and he padded his stats the entire time. He's a stat padder. I think once he gets to NFL, there you go, a stat compiler. I think once he gets to NFL level and stuff like that, I don't think he's talented enough to be a consistent starter. I think he's a bust. I think if you start him, he's going to be a bust.
Deshaun Watson or Shadur Sanders?
God, they're like the same player. They're like the same player because I mean,
Deshaun.
the way I look at it is Shadur Sanders is another Will Levis and Caleb Williams. He holds the ball too long. He wants it. No, he holds the ball too long and he'll take sacks. Okay,
Is Will Levis and Caleb Williams the same guy in your eye?
that's not what I said.
That's what I'm asking.
No,
For some clarification.
Will Levis takes the sack because he doesn't have the vision to see it coming. Right? Caleb Williams holds the ball too long.
Okay.
Shadur Sanders does both of those. I don't think he's as good as everybody thinks he is because, for one, his conference that he plays in is a garbage conference.
Agreed.
Right? And then he had was his brother on the team too. So it's obviously
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, Travis Hunter. Now I think Travis Hunter is lights out more talented than Shadur Sanders is. But I also think there's a bit of stat padding there because his dad said get Travis Hunter. He got Travis Hunter as much as he could. I don't like Shadur Sanders. I mean, I could be proven wrong really bad by this, but I'm avoiding him 100%. I don't want anything to do with him.
That's fair. That's fair.
Unless somebody tax him on the end.
Williams, Will Levis, Shadur, kind of like
in my opinion, he has the worst asset of both of those players.
Okay.
Like if you look at Will Levis, he cannot see a blitz coming to save his life. Right? He can't. And it's not because he's holding the ball too long. He just does not see it. He just take sacks, right? Caleb Williams just holds the ball for way too long. And everyone's like, oh, I mean, Caleb Williams could take a huge step this year and could be really good, but I stick to my guns when I said beginning of last season, I wouldn't have drafted Caleb Williams this year. He didn't do good, and it panned out that way. I mean, he got 3,000 yards, but so did, 20 something other quarterbacks did that. So it's, it's not a big deal.
To me, Shedeur and Genty, they don't need to go to the combine.
I think Shedeur does a good to the combine because it would expose him.
Exactly. And
Genty doesn't go because he doesn't need to
rise enough.
Yeah, he's at the top of he's number one. He's the 101. There's no reason for him to go. There's no reason to play in the Senior Bowl either. You know what I mean? Shedeur Sanders says, "Hey, you'll see me in the Senior Bowl, which also has 2 or 3 of the Colorado whatever team he was on, wide receivers." Yeah, I just burped right into the mic, dog. It's uncut. We're already.
The last thing. Listen.
Yeah,
All right, I'm going to take over. The last thing I have for all the diners is that the Chargers have been guaranteed to have the first Brazil game this year. The Chargers are going to Brazil.
Yeah. Does he want to eventually get? The commissioner wants to get 16 games out of the United States.
Dude, who knows?
That is
NFL is trying.
That is that's what he wants.
I
know,
but
16 games.
That's
insane, almost the
dude.
entire season.
It's insane.
It's like you have Thursday night football, Sunday and Monday, and then you want to put it out.
If that happens, trust that the salary cap, they just raised it, $25 million this year. That will raise by $75 million if they start making a whole international schedule. I promise you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take it to the bank. All right, y'all. Listen, please make sure you go back and listen to part 1 of this podcast. This is part 2. We love you guys. Diners, we are back in. Winter break is over. YouTube and Spotify at DFD Podcast. On IG and X at DFD_podcast. Facebook, DFD Pod. Listen, we really are asking for y'all's help. Please get a friend and get in there and I want you to visually stand over their shoulder and physically make them like the page, follow it, and then if you want to be nice, leave a rating review. We really appreciate it.
1 minute, 60 seconds, 1 minute.
That's it. We just need 60 seconds of your time. Well, no. We get all of y'all's diners time. We need 60 seconds of y'all diners friends time. That's what we're asking for.
That's all we need.
I'm not going to lie. My mom was just in town visiting. I made her sit down, and I made her go ahead and put in 62 seconds worth of time on the episode. And I made her follow, like, subscribe. She even left a review. So please, we're asking for your help because we have cool stuff we want to do this football season, and we just need a platform, okay? So we appreciate y'all. Get in the comments. We want so much more diner, listener, banter, or, conversation where we can make it better for you, okay? So that's all I got, Kerry. You got anything else you want to tell the diners before we get out of here?
No, thanks. Thanks for coming back, and I hope everybody's winter was good and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean that's all I got right now.
All right, y'all. Please, again, at DFD Podcast, please share it. Share it. Tell them, give us 60 seconds. We really need y'all. We'll start giving away stuff. If that's what it's going to take, that's what it's going to take.
Oh, quick note: we are moving to every other week. So.
No, we were that.
Yeah, we are that. I mean, I'm just okay.
Oh,
reminder: we are every other week episode. Yeah. Okay. No, it's fair. I said it wrong. I did.
Yo, we love you guys. We're about to close this diner up for the night. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Get in the comment section. Let us know what you want to know. But the next episode, we're going to be doing college reviews on these players. So stay tuned. Love y'all. Diner out.
Thanks for stopping by.